Perhaps the best major step would be to reclaim our original Afro religion, spirituality and unity, epitomized by one great ruler who defended Afro unity. I shall read his prayer when he faced a very difficult, almost genocidal battle in part of Africa when he was defending our continent. I shall read that in vernacular. You can follow in the language that you understand the best. Ngiyakubiza na baba Amen Ra. Ngiphakathi lapha kwabantu abanengi balenjongo yokusibulala yokusiqeda. Amanye amazwe abuthene ukuthi asiqede thina abantu bamsundu bathatha inoto yethu. Sisedwa kula omunye umuntu uzasinceda. Ngiyakubiza ke baba ngomthandazo lo. Ngilapha phakathi phetsheya emhlabathini ngiyakwazi ukuthi umthandazo wami uzathutsha ngapho ewasethi Thebes. Ngiyakuzwa ukuthi subuya. Ngiyakubonga ke Amen Ra, umnikazi wezinto zonke. What kind of Africa would you rather build and be proud of if an opportunity to do so arises? This opportunity arises daily. Would you rather have an Africa driven by high technology and transhumanism, or an Africa that preserves its natural beauty and fauna and the resources, or an Africa that becomes a center that feeds the whole earth with mineral and other world resources, and we receive paper money and other digital currencies? The Africa we must build soon. We need a great leader imbued with the spirit of Africa. We have great examples of such great rulers who restored Afro unity before. Here is one of them. Ramesu Mariamana, mourning with a growing beard. There he is. A great warrior, this one. This was a real great king. This man ruled the whole of the earth. He's wearing there a collar of the Maasai of Kenya, Tanzania, and the Xhosa of South Africa. He has a snake on his crown like the Yoruba of Nigeria or the Tongas of the Nyami fame along the Zambezi River. His name is Ramasase, according to us in Southern Africa, or Ramesia Mariamana in the Central Africa, Central Great Lakes, where he came from. He was emperor from 1303 BCE and died 1213 BCE. He ruled for almost 66 years, defended Africa, the greatest ruler of ancient Africa. He also had almost 200 children during his long life. He lived almost to 90 something. His son was Mere Naputa when he took over the throne. His father was the one many call Seti, but we know him as Sutu I, who also defended and fought many battles. The other thing that we would do is to have a correctional calendar that links us to our history. The original calendar that the whole world has bastardized today. And we will all also consensus agree that it starts in 4236 for us, because that's how our kings and many others counted their years. So when we add 2019 there, we know that this year that we are is 6255. That's the correct year. Next year is 6256, beginning from September. That's how we calculate and know it. So we've got Aket, the flood month, what Peret, month for planting, and Chemo, the month for harvesting and the low waters. I'll also make sure that we restore Shi Africa our language. Our scholars, and one brilliant young scholar, Msetoe, has told us and has come up with nuggets and given us that the title of our language that we must speak as a people, or as Bantus today, should be known as Shiakrafime na Medua, which is based on words and symbolisms, how they denoted Africa and how they should denote it today. And we will use this word, which we will come to very shortly, and demonstrate how it is used. This is the alphabet that we will have to derive and come to accept today, because of many other things that we have realized. Africa, therefore, will have to restore its name, a name that is rich with our past and unity. The young scholar genius Msetoe continues to break barriers. He digs up gold nuggets. Given a chance, I would rename this continent anew. What would I name it? Tawashimawa, a stem native Shiafrakame name for the continent of Africa. It derives from Ji Tawashima in Afrikime language and etymologically related to Simaidawi, the ancient Egyptian name for two lands. Mutawashimata is the person of Shimawa in African. Nu irajatu na muoru wa Tawashimawa is the language of the mouth of Africa, out of the mouth of every African. Rawashima anu wiwote, Lord of the unification of the people of ancient African continent, Tawashimawa. Hanu Tawarati is the first lady. Mitawarati includes all the other people of African or Bantu ancestry found all over the earth. So this continent should be renamed Tawashimawa, according to If I Have Got All the Power. How will it be politically governed? It will have 5 countries within it, and there will be North Africa or North Tawashimawa, or in the West Tawashimawa, East Tawashimawa, Central Tawashimawa, and Southern Tawashimawa. You can use Africa like with a K, that still will work, but commercially and as we move forward, it's Tawashimawa. We will remove the Berlin Conference borders and forget about them completely. Only 5 nations with a varying number of countries within, like that, exactly like that. There will be 5 governors first. The state parliament will choose the emperor out of the 5 governors and these 2 deputies. There will be 2 remaining members of the 5 of those 5, and these 2 out of them will have one take defense and the other take commerce. These 5 governors are elected by the whole nation, and they compete and contest. The one who gets more votes, as it goes like that, is one who will be verified by the parliament, or elected by citizens in the 5 countries. Each region will elect a premier every 4 years. Regional premiers do not sit in federal parliament but attend a regular governing council of 10 members. There will be no senate. There will be a ruling council operating with regional premiers, and this ruling council will also consist of the judiciary, which will be the Bantu law within them, because the councils consist of 12 chiefs. The countries becomes the states, provinces in the federal system. Then every 7 years there will be elections to elect members of parliament in those countries. The most important task would be to deal with a world generation. We will think of 2 people here. One is what the Honorable Marcus Garvey taught: without commerce and industry, a people perish economically. The Negro is perishing because he has no economic system. So we need an economic system, an Afro-economic system that is already there. We know it. Everyone knows it. I know it. You know it. Right? It's an Afro-based economic system. What we need to transition to that is we need a single Tawashimawa or so-called African currency linked to gold. The late great pioneer Marcus Garvey first coined the term United States of Africa. We also know that the Libyan leader Colonel Gaddafi wanted to introduce only trade in only one currency, the African gold dinar. We will not say dinar, we will say African gold or Tawashimawa gold. That is the name of the currency. Or Tawashimawa Nubre. That's the name of gold. There are others that say Africans had no name for gold. I have given you the name as Nubre. This change would have thrown world economy into chaos if ever Africa had adopted that, which means it's a very powerful stance to take. It is the economic solution to all our wars. Africa is the richest continent on earth today in terms of natural resources, but we have the poorest citizens. I urge every African, now this is aside from my speculation and my desire, but I urge every African to read the green book authored by Muammar Gaddafi. I know I have always attacked white Arabs and stuff like that, but there is no other leader I can sense today who had the heart of loving Africa. Obama called him evil, but look at what he did, Muammar Gaddafi. Education and health care was free for all Libyans, whether black or white. Gender equality was part of the constitution, and women's rights were best in the region. Illiteracy was almost wiped out. Homelessness was unknown. Per capita income was estimated 12,000, highest in the region for each person. Libya had the world's largest irrigation system, agronomy, and they destroyed it. You can read all this from there. So this economic system that he had, we adopted that for Tawa Shimawa. I will also encourage and enforce the law of the African dance. Of course, I know that this is connected with our secret societies, but I will say we will have to have our own clothing system, our own clothing style. It's already there. It's there in West Africa. There, we need to export that. I will encourage all the women to put shishakati and like that, wear like that. All this will be encouraged. All these facial marks will be encouraged in our dance. The Nguni dance, the Maasai warrior dance, the Ghana dance, the Soto, Mohebelo striding dance, all the dances you can ever have will be introduced. Male and female roles, men dance with an attack, rapid, forceful movement, women dance with sustained grace. All this will be encouraged. The drum will become the major and the powerful federal instrument, while this mbira and various other instruments will dominate in the regions and will be used in the Council of Chiefs. Ancient Africa, time period 3000 before Common Era, this was what was already there, and the joy and happiness was already there. You can read more of the African dance from the website that we are indicating there. There are so many activities to be redone. If I had an opportunity, I would engage in so many of them, like industrialization. And so, although there's no need to reinvent the wheel, but we will have to revisit using Gustav Cativus ideas on manufacturing, which are pollution free. All manufacturing will be pollution free because we have scholars and inventors in Africa today, in Cameroon, in Zimbabwe, in South Africa, that have this technology. Also, all our brothers all over the world who were pushed out of Africa, taken out of Africa through slavery, they will come back without any papers and any documentation. These are our kingdoms, which you can look at in ancient times, and when you say it's impossible, it's possible. There you can see our ancestors gathering under the tree, our cities. So it has been done before, it will be done again. I'll also go on to preserve Afro healing systems, foods, and cut down every foreign fruit out of Africa, and restore local regional wild fruits and tame African plants, and herbs like this will be restored and put back. Fruits like this will be encouraged. Every African must eat these fruits. So this is what I will encourage us to do. The Africa we must build soon. What would you do? I give some steps here that I would wish every one of us could start to do today. Afro unity, to call ourselves Bantus again. Ancestral researches, to find all our totemic links with other Africans across the whole globe on earth. To pray every day the prayer of oneness that Emperor Ramesses prayed. I will give that prayer again in vernacular when we conclude. Who is our enemy today? That's what I will teach and show people. Anyone who teaches division and hate, anyone who teaches that Bantus must hate each other, whether on religion or religious ground or anything, that's our enemy. Look at this image here. There is our enemy there. His foot is on the head of our king Ramesses II, who drove out all foreigners. This should not be repeated. This should be stopped. It is the hour for all of us to reclaim our original Afro unity, spirituality and unity, as well as religion, epitomized by one great ruler who defended Afro unity. I shall read his prayer in closing, and in vernacular you can follow. Dinokutenda baba wedu Amen Ra. Tiri mukati mewandu ndudzi dzakasiyana siyana. Wane chido chokuti paradza vanoti wenga. Nyika zhinji dzabatana kuti dziti paradze. Dziparadze rudzi rwako rwanhu watema nokutora upfumi hwedu. Tiritega hapana uyo anotida anotidziwirira. Ndinosimudza munamato wangu ndiri muno mukati menyika iri kure kure ndichiziva kuti kutebesi ikoko kuHwazeti munamato wangu wasvika ndakutokunzwa nenhano dzako wakutoya kwandiri iwe unopenya. Amen Ra, muridzi wazvese. Subscribe to our channel Hamiti Hebrew Ethics God. This preacher Rabbi LM Tumizulu. Thank you. Goodbye. Have a good day.